I have anywhere between 1 to 4, 5, 6 dreams a night. There's so many of them, it's so many dreams. I've had national dreams. One of them I just reviewed about the Pope dying. This was like years ago in 2022, and that there was a Middle Eastern looking guy who would be the next Pope.
Lars, man, I'd like to hear from you. What's a major dream that you had that really affected your life?
So, man, so as AJ said, I'm very much a dreamer. I wasn't originally like that. It was something for me that I really had to press into with the Holy Spirit and by faith say, okay, God, this is something that I read in the scriptures that is available to me. I want more. I want to cultivate more of this gift of dreaming. And so I went from essentially just being one of those occasionally, could remember my dream. And even then, it was very abstract and fragmented to where it's like, what is it? The whole thought of, man, what did I eat maybe or something like that, to the point where now I have anywhere between, 1 to 4, 5, 6 dreams a night in which I faithfully record. And I have logs back to from the time I started recording that was like 2016. I was actually trying to review some of them, but my mind starts swirling because it's so many of them, it's so many dreams. But I want to steward the blessings that God gives. Like he said in his word, whatever you steward, he'll increase, what his much has been given, much more will be expected. Anyways, um, I've had national dreams. One of them I just reviewed about the Pope dying. This was like years ago in 2022, and that there was a Middle Eastern looking guy who would be the next Pope. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought it was very interesting that I looked back on that and saw that dream. But there's so many different ones. The one I want to come to mind right now is probably one it was in a time of weariness, to be honest with you. It was a time where I was working a lot. I have 5 kids and a beautiful bride, a busy home. Everything's busy. They're in sports, all these type of things. I think at the time I was in ministry and organized conventional ministry. So I was actually in a church doing volunteer work. And it was just a lot of warfare. It was a ton of spiritual warfare. It was just a ton of things going on within the ministry that I was just like, what is going on? And I was at the point of, honestly, like, I wouldn't say breaking, but I would say I was at a point of, Lord, in my heart, I just need rest. I need some type of touch from you in a way that I'm just not finding in my prayer closet right now. To be honest, I'm just not finding right now in the conventional discipline that I have. I'm not having that moment. And I remember going to sleep one night, and when I went to sleep, it was almost like I was in a spirit, but I was in a dream, and it was very clear. And I remember walking in the midst of these tall, I mean, these huge, look like wheat, like just wheat everywhere. And the setting was like a sunset, probably around like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and maybe kind of fall time of year. And I remember just walking. And as I was walking through the wheat, it was like this wheat was from a heavenly realm. It was like this was a wheat from heaven. It was all clean. It was all pure. The grass, there was not a blemish to it. And I was just going through this area, and I remember seeing like an angel in the distance. And as I began to walk, I was taken to another area where it's like streams of water and just all these beautiful things. And it was just like this real vivid experience that I remember having, and I don't typically have dreams like this. But through every step of the dream, it was like there was a healing and a restoration that was going on in my soul, man. And just remember waking up from that dream after I had all these experiences. I had went into all these different places. Hey, maybe I had just my spirit had into the spirit realm. I don't know. For me, it was a dream. That might segue into visions at some point in time or whatever. But in any sense, I know I fell asleep and then I arrived at this place. I just know at the end of it all, I felt healed. Like, literally, it was like God had touched me and he had just healed my body of so much of wounds in the spirit, like wounds in the spirit that were afflicting me subtly throughout everything I was going through in the season through this one experience. And the beautiful thing about it is, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but dreams, he uses your language. He uses your language to communicate with you. And it's something that you wrestle with through the metaphorical language a lot of times. Sometimes there's literal, but a lot of times metaphorically, in order to reveal what he's wanting you to receive or to speak or communicate with you. Like he's not gonna bring to me a lot of times me at some type of sushi bar eating some type of food, that I don't even know what it is. And then some person comes in with a turban and da da da. I mean, that can happen, but a bunch of my dreams are gonna be like that. A lot of times it's like I'm in an old house that I used to live in, or I see people in my current or past who I know what kind of spirit they represent, and he speaks to me through that language. But I don't want to jump too far ahead again. But that dream just came to mind just now. It was very impactful to minister to my life in the season that I was in at that moment. And it really not just ministered to me in a psychological way, but in a spiritual way. It brought about healing in a time where I needed it, that was very, very impactful and taught me something about the nature of who God is. That when I go to sleep, like as the Song of Solomon says, I sleep, but my heart is still with me. It is my beloved. And it talks about how the bridegroom, even if we sleep, the bridegroom is there with us. That's what I kind of felt like from that. For whatever that's worth, that was my most impactful dream.